An appropriate start to the show, considering how this game just went. Just fumbled my ring light. There we go. Better. All right. What's up, y'all? Welcome in to a victorious whiskey and wine. Let's not forget the fact that LSU did actually win the game. As ugly as it was, as as much as LSU tried their best for 4 quarters not to put South Carolina away, to let them stay in that ball game and make this a game it didn't need to be, LSU does in fact win. So Tigers get a 20-10 win. Thank the sweet Lord, baby Jesus. We're going to go through the game. I'll get a lot of your comments. I'm going to light up the cigar. We're going to make a pour. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Shout out friends of Bocock. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll show you this. Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars. Got the 100-year boxes if you want them. Bocock Brothers. Use code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off your order. So Tigers win 20-10. That was ugly. You would always rather learn lessons in ugly games, in ugly wins, as opposed to learn lessons in losses when you play pitifully like you did against Ole Miss. I mean, you played a very poor football game against Ole Miss, and you lost. Today, there were things you did better. I'll go ahead and pour my Elmer T. Lee, if you're familiar. Part of the Mash Bill 2 series, one of my favorites. So let me know what you got in the glass. Pour it. Go ahead. We'll get a pour here. We'll do a toast, and we'll talk about the Tigers' win and where they go from here. But glad to have everybody aboard with us here on a victorious edition of Whiskey and Wine. So cheers, everybody. Raise your glass, whatever you got. If you'd like to make a toast with us, appreciate everybody who takes a picture, snaps the picture, and shares it on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere, Instagram. Wasn't pretty, but the Tigers win. They're 5-1. They beat South Carolina. Tigers ranked 11th in the country. They'll probably move up after some more upsets this week in and around the top 10, which we'll talk about as well. So cheers, everybody. All right. Where to begin? I think there's a few obvious places to start, which is that the offense moved the ball, but they didn't finish drives, and the defense continues to be awesome. I think I'm encouraged by the run game tonight. It was literally the thing that I wanted to see, was a commitment to running the football. And tonight, someone asked me on Morning Scone today, what do you like? What's the thing you're hoping to see? And I said, I hope I look at the box score. Go back and watch them if you want to go. It was like the end of Morning Scone today. So go back. I said, look at the box score at the end of the game, and I hope the rushing attempts and the passing attempts are equal. Like there was an attempt at balance in this game. And so you threw it 33 times and you ran it 30 times. You put up 420 yards of offense. You ran 30 times for 166, an average of 5.5. That's fantastic. Nuss was 20 of 33 for 254, 2 touchdowns, the 2 interceptions are what everybody's going to focus on, and you should, because both were horrendous. And you had three goal line opportunities where you came away with a field goal. One field goal and 3 goal line opportunities. This is a bad South Carolina team. They started this game down 3 offensive linemen. Lenora Sellers has been ineffective this entire season because they're terrible. And you had opportunity, and your defense is really good, and they played great tonight. And you had opportunities throughout this game to put it away, and you didn't, because you continue to make mistakes. So there's reasons, obviously, to be concerned. There's some things worth being encouraged about, like your defense is great, your special teams are great, and you ran the football tonight. But there's still a lot, obviously, to work on. So do me a favor, y'all. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you're on Facebook as well, glad to have you aboard with us here. Please like the page, share the post, all that stuff on Facebook. Quick reminder about our sponsors, Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Tell you all the time, do business with someone you know. That's me and Tilly and Terrio and Joe Morales and our whole crew. We are super grateful for everybody that's given us an opportunity to earn your business, commercial, residential, repairs, replacements. We do it all and all over the state of Louisiana. So parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com is the website. We'd love to help you out. Of course, Got Lit Light Installers as well. A big shout out to Derek and to Cal and the whole crew at Got Lit. They're awesome. They've been great partners of ours here, and we've loved endorsing them. It's Got Lit service is easy. They come to your house. They bring their Christmas lights, Christmas decorations, all that stuff. They set them up. If anything goes wrong during the season, they will come fix it. And then at the end of the season, they'll come And then at the end of the season, they'll come take down the lights and haul them away. It's beautiful. You can see pictures on their Facebook, their Instagram. They're already starting their install, so do not wait. Please don't wait until I'm going to wait until November after Thanksgiving, because by then they're done. It's a wrap by then. Like, they're already starting their installs here throughout October and November, and they're done by Thanksgiving. So give them a shout. GotLitLights.com, GotLitLights.com, GotLitLights.com. So, all right. What channel is the Arizona game on? Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to see what channel Arizona's on. So put up there. Utah is just weird because they got money on Arizona. Or is that over? No, it's on ESPN2. Okay. All right, we'll get rolling here. I appreciate y'all for being with us. All right. I'm going to get to all your questions, comments, or keep them coming. I appreciate it. And we'll dive into this football game. So a couple of my takeaways here. Just a couple of notes as we get started. I think there's this sort of there's this conflicting part of me that looks and says, okay, like, objectively, your defense is great. You're great on special teams, but offensively, you're not good. I mean, like, you're 6 games in. Your season is halfway over, right? I mean, today you're 6 games in. You're at the halfway point of the season. The most you have scored against an FBS opponent is 23 points against Louisiana Tech. You had identical 20-10 scores against Florida and South Carolina. Like, it is a problem that you can't finish drives and score points. It's a problem. That is, like, objectively true. Your offensive line is not good. There's no other way there's no way around this, and it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. We talked about the offensive line from literally the first day of spring practice. I mean, you lost 5 starters on your offensive line from a year ago. We knew it was the biggest question. They went and added 2 guys in the portal. And I think Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson have played well. I think Tyree Adams has been serviceable at left tackle. You've rotated guys at left guard. And really the glaring weakness has been Weston Davis at right tackle. If you're watching the game tonight, they put a graphic up on the screen where they were showing, I don't know what metric it was, but it was ranking all the offensive linemen in college football, and Weston Davis was like 608 out of 630. I mean, you can look at whatever you want. You can the eye test, PFF, whatever graphic they showed here tonight, like whatever that was. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, the kid's struggling. And they've tried to give him help. I mean, we can give him help with Bauer Sharp over there. He's just not a very good player right now. It's not to say physically, he's a well put together young guy. He's a great athlete. He's a 5-star when you got him to flip from A&M. He just right now is swimming. He's just in over his head. So I think, you look and you say, is it time to look at another option like Parish Kern? And maybe it is. But, it's never going to be ideal to turn over 5 starters on your offensive line. Like, I think some of Davis's struggles might even be minimized a little bit if you had more veterans. I mean, like, think about last year, for example. This is a great example, is last year, right? So Chester's playing center for you last year, and Chester wasn't great. He really struggled a lot, and he was playing out of position too. But you had 4 dudes around him that had all started for 3 or 4 years. So they were able to kind of mask it a little bit, right? But when Dellinger went out and now Mabenga and Chester were center left guard, then it was really exposed, because then you had 2 weak links right there side by side on the interior of your line. So you saw that a year ago. So someone said, so why play him? Meaning Davis. I don't know that you have a better option. This was Devin said, why not start Chester at right tackle? I think Chester's a guard, but he's a guy that's played a lot. So is he a better option at right tackle? Maybe. But then I would look at the evidence of what Brian Kelly and Brad Davis did at Ole Miss. Davis gets concussed before the game, and so they play. They start Kern because Chester couldn't, because he was, it was targeting. He was out for the first half. Well, second half, Chester could have gone in, or Chester could have played the second half, but they stuck with Parish Kern. So, I mean, I think Kern is probably past DJ Chester in that respect. So, but that's part of it. Look, man, that's been my contention all along. They spent half the broadcast tonight talking about Nussmeier's health, his injury, is he hurt, is he zipped, the velocity, but whatever. Like, I don't look at the mistakes Garrett Nussmeier made tonight and blame that on injury. Maybe you disagree with me. If you do, that's fine. I mean, we can all have opinions. I watched the game just like you did. But I don't look at Garrett Nussmeier throwing the interception where he missed Kyle Parker in the first half as injury related. Like, he had a guy open, he missed him. I don't think that was because of his injury. The interception at the goal line, like, that wasn't injury. I mean, Jordan, I thought, did a good job going through it. Like, it was an RPO. Nuss decided to throw the ball to Tradez, and the safety, bit on the ball or broke on the ball and made an interception at the goal line. That situation too. You're up 7, even field goal there. You're up 2 scores, and the only thing they've been able to do all night is they busted off a 72-yard run. I mean, hat tip to him. I mean, Tamarcus Cooley had a shot to make the tackle on the play, didn't make it, but they're not driving the length of the field. Even when Carolina was putting together long drives, they shot themselves in the foot. It was comical. I mean, they couldn't help but put themselves behind the sticks. Like, just look at any of Carolina's long drives. Like, when they got the ball with 2 minutes, we'll go through game flow. 2 minutes, they got the ball with 2:11 at the end of the first half. Sellers for 9 yards, 2-yard run, first down, 5-yard catch, false start. So now all of a sudden, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 10. Oh, then there was the holding. There was the holding on Tamarcus Cooley when they had a drop. And anyway, they're driving. Then they go incomplete, intentional grounding by Lenore Sellers, and they got a punt. You know what I mean? It's like every time they were putting together a drive, they couldn't help. Even there late in the game, when they put together their long drive, was like the 11-play drive. They converted when they started at the LSU 1. They started like they got the 3rd and 7 conversion for 16 yards. They're driving 1, 2, 3, 4 first downs. And then on first down from the LSU 27, they false start, and then another intentional grounding, and then a sack. I mean, South Carolina's not good. Like, my point is, like, they weren't coming back. All you had to do is protect the football, and Nuss didn't. So, like, those are plays that, a year ago coming into the season when we talked about Garrett, the question we had about Nuss last year was, all right, can he just protect the football? We know he can sling it. can make all the throws, all the stuff, but can he purge the bad plays? And when he did, he was really good. And then there were games like A&M last year where or Florida where he turned the ball over and it was a problem. Someone said, let's see, said, are we underdogs at Vandy? I was actually asking Jimmy that on Friday. His thought was going to be LSU 2.5. So somewhere around LSU by a field goal, right? I don't know if it's been posted yet, but LSU should be a small favorite next week going in. But this was one of those games for Nuss where he showed you some of the flashes, right? The 17-yarder on the sideline was it to Durham? The 17-yarder on the sideline to Durham was an insane. It was right before half. It was right before the interception. Hilton drops the deep ball, and then the very next play, right? Hilton drops the deep ball. The very next play, Nuss throws that beautiful pass on the sideline to Caden Durham for 17 yards. Like, gorgeous ball. And you can see the ability that's there for Garrett. Like, that's the part that's intoxicating because the ability's there. But then the interception at the end of the first half, the interception at the goal line, the fumble at the end of the game. I mean, when they quarterback sneaked it, he fumbled. Thank God he fell on it. He fumbled. I mean, you're trying to go up 2 scores there. He fumbles, has to fall on the football. So, anyway, I know that's what everybody's going to want to talk about is Garrett and the offense, and rightfully so. Defense was great. I mean, you look at Carolina. What your defense did today. Carolina 317 total yards. They threw it for 124, ran it for 193. Of course, 72 of that was on one play. They were 6 of 16 on third. They were 0 of 2 on fourth. I mean, your defense is great. I mean, that's you have a great defense, and it's the frustrating thing because if your offense could complement the defense, you could be really special. Kind of like, I mean, similar, I would think. I don't know that the offense is as bad akin to what the LSU defense was in 23 when Jaden had his Heisman season, right? But it's comparable where like you're good enough in 2 of the 3 phases to be a playoff team and to be a contending team, but the third phase is not there right now. That's LSU's offense, and it's surprising because that was the thing I think we all came into this year thinking that's going to be great. Like that, you didn't have a question about the offense coming in. You had a question about the offensive line, but you thought 5th-year senior at quarterback, all the weapons coming back on offense. You add, Barry and Brown and Nick Anderson, and you go add 2 offensive linemen out of the portal to sort of supplement there. And Craig making a store run. Y'all need some. I'm good, Craig. I'm outside. I got a giant ass TV with the Arizona game on. I got a fire, cigar, drinking Elmer T. Lee. I'm good, man. Good. Hope all of y'all are as well. Chase said BK had the play sheet in his hand during the 3rd drive of the game. It was completely different offense that we've seen all season. I was talking about this with Hanny in the pregame. I have no problem with Kelly involving himself in the offense. I mean, Brian Kelly was an offensive play caller for a long time. He's the most experienced play caller on staff. I understand that as a head coach, you have to delegate. You hire coaches, you delegate the responsibilities, and you let them do their jobs. But I think you also have to look and say, are you willing to waste a potential great opportunity this year if you're not able to get your offense going? That's a concern, man. It's a legitimate question and concern. Y'all know how I feel about this. Someone said bad game plan and play calling. So you're going to have to give me a little more specificity there, what you didn't like. You put up 420 yards of offense. I love that they committed to running the football. They threw it 33 times. They ran it 30 times. Durham had 15 for 70. Juwan 5 for 66. Of course, he had the long 56-yarder. He fumbled at the 1-yard line. Like, this is really a game, guys. Like, for real. Like, if we can be honest. I mean, we can say the turnovers are a problem, the sloppy play, all that stuff. We can talk about that, and that's all very real. If you protect the football in the red zone and convert, this is like a 38-10 game, right? If you're able to convert in the red zone. Now, you didn't, and you were sloppy, and you turned the ball over, but this should have been a 34-10, 38-10 type game. Christian said should have been 45-10. I mean, it like, well, sorry, the comments are going really fast. I'm trying to keep up there, but yeah. So it should have been 40. I don't know, 45-10, but I mean, Juwan Johnson's fumble. You had 1st and goal from the 1 after the Trades catch. You couldn't get in. You ended up settling for a field goal. And then the interception at the goal line. I don't know that you can assume 3 touchdowns there, but I mean, 2 touchdowns and a field goal, so 14, 17 points. You know, you should. I think you left 14 points. I think you left 14 points out there for sure. So 20-10 this should have been 34-10, and it should have been night early. You shouldn't have been sweating out, you know, a goal line situation there with 2 minutes to go in the game where they couldn't move the ball at all because their offense stinks and your defense is really good. That played out just like I think we all thought it would. Gordy Rush. It's the biggest troll in the world. Anyway, all right. Let's run through the game flow a little bit, y'all. And then we'll get to all your questions, comments. Keep this 2,500 you watch. I can't thank you enough, man. That's awesome. I'm humbled by the fact that y'all come here. I know we don't all always agree, and that's cool. Really, it's cool. I mean, I get it. I'm sure there's a lot of people here watching who don't love LSU, but most of us are here because we love the Tigers. We want them to win, and glad to have everybody aboard. You know, I think let me finish the thought where we started, which was there's 2 things which are objectively true. One is, like, you had struggles tonight, right? That's objectively true, and there are issues, and if you don't sort them out, it's going to be really disappointing. The other thing that's true is at the halfway point in the season, you're 5-1. And considering the season opener at Clemson, which I thought they would lose, I thought they'd be 5-1 at this point. Now, I thought it would look very different, candidly, but I thought they'd be 5-1 right now. And they're in position to do everything they want to do. You can roll your eyes and laugh because they are certainly not playing like a playoff team. I'm not suggesting that right now. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not suggesting that. I told you my tone would change if the offense didn't get going against Ole Miss, because Ole Miss is a very bad defensive team. And look at what happened to Ole Miss today. Ole Miss was a 34-point favorite at home against Washington State, and they won by 3. Like, that's a bad defense. You couldn't move the ball. And I told you then, if LSU, you can call me an apologist, fine, whatever. I like to think of myself as just not being quite as reactionary. I'm willing to be more patient to let things evolve throughout the course of the season. But I told you, like, I could understand some of the offensive struggles in the first 4 games. I understand new offensive line, really good defensive lines against Clemson and Florida, playing a certain style to make sure you won the game. Nuss limited to whatever degree. Like, I understood. I could buy that. So I was like, let me see. And then you went to Oxford and you played a bad Ole Miss defense and you couldn't move the ball, and that's a problem. So I told you my tone would change if you didn't move the ball against Ole Miss. They didn't. So my tone's changed a lot. I still think they can get better. I think every team in every sport has the ability to improve over the course of the year, and they do. I mean, the example I give all the time is about Kelly's first team here. They were hideous against Florida State and got the shit kicked out of them by Tennessee. And then they ended up beating undefeated Ole Miss. They beat Bama. They win the West. They go to the SEC championship game. I mean, you can get better. Like, it's allowed. You can improve, and I think this team will improve, and they'll – look, today was much better running the football than we've seen so far, and I think they'll keep building on it and getting better. But it's just, what is the ceiling for this team? That's what I think is hard to define right now. So, So those are the two things. Number one, you continue to play sloppy. You're not playing anything like a contending team. No one is suggesting that. But number two, you are 5-1. You are still in a position where you have every goal ahead of you if you can get things together. Dame said 8-4. I mean, at this point, I think you'll be a small favorite at Vanderbilt. There's a good chance you're a home underdog against A&M. You'll be a dog at Bama and at Oklahoma. You'll be a home favorite against Arkansas and Western Kentucky. So if all that holds, yeah, then you'd be 8-4. And if you're 8-4 this year, it's just a massive disappointment. I mean, it's everything. You went into this season investing in your roster to make the push behind the veteran quarterback and all. And if you go 8-4, that is an unapologetic, unmitigated disaster of a season. There's no sugarcoating that if that happens. But you can improve and you can get better. Like, what if you win next week at Vanderbilt? I mean, play this out with me. You win next week at Vanderbilt, which is doable. You come home, you're 6-1, and you have an epic environment for Texas A&M. Because A&M is going to play Arkansas next week, and they'll win. It should win. And LSU is going to play Vanderbilt. And so you will have 7-0 top 5 Texas A&M against 6-1 top 10 LSU in Tiger Stadium. You mean to tell me that's not going to be a batshit crazy environment? Come on, y'all. Like, epic environment in Tiger Stadium. Maybe you play, and maybe behind that you play your best game, you get a big win, you go into your bye, and then you go into November really just needing to split Bama, Oklahoma. Hold serve at home against Arkansas, Western Kentucky, split Bama, Oklahoma, and you're 10-2. You know? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying there's a path. So all that needs to be considered. All right, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Thanks for being there with us. Big shout out, Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. We'd love to help you out. Roof repairs, replacements, commercial, residential. We do soft washes, we do gutters, and we service the whole state of Louisiana. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, and Got Lit Light Installers, gotlitlights.com. I have Got Lit pinned in the YouTube chat. The caveat I need to mention about Got Lit is they only service like about a 30-mile radius of Baton Rouge. So if you're outside of a 30-mile radius of Baton Rouge, they're probably not going to service you. But get like, if you love Christmas, your family loves Christmas, you want your house to look awesome, let Got Lit take care of it. They do all of it. They're awesome. Like, I will use their service forever, for as long as they're in business. My wife loves Christmas. I hate decorating. I'm not doing Clark Griswold shit, getting on ladders and stapling lights up. So Got Lit will do whatever you want. People say, well, how much does it cost? I wish I could tell you. It really depends on how big is your house, how much do you want done? Do you just want the front? Do you want the back? Do you want the roof? Do you want other lawn ornaments and decorations? Like, what do you want done? Do you want them wrapped in trees? It depends on what you want. So every job is going to be different, but it's so worth giving them a shout. They'll make your home look beautiful, and it is totally turnkey. Gotlitlights.com, gotlitlights.com. Everything's scrolling here on the bottom. I got it linked in the description as well. Okay. Let's go through the game, y'all. So Cohen Eccles started left guard for Paul Mabenga. You did not have Aaron Anderson tonight. That's worth noting. Jamari Butler got hurt in this ball game as well. So I'm going to be interested to see what the snap counts look like. But in the second half, Dylan Carpenter did take some of those reps, but it looked like they primarily stuck with Peyton and Pyburn there at defensive end when Butler went out. And that's something worth noting, y'all, because, I mean, you're already down Gabe Relaford. Let's see what's up with Jamari Butler as well now, because it's really limiting your rotation. I also didn't see Ahmad Bro in this ball game. Let me see if he played. I don't know if they have a participation report just yet, but okay, never mind. I stand corrected. Ahmad Bro did play good. He was on the injury report earlier this week. He did play. I just didn't notice him, but that's great to see. So Ahmad Bro did play. So they win the toss defer. You get the ball, and you probably go 3-and-out. First play, they hand the ball to Caden Durham. It's a 3-yard loss. And the thing I was afraid would happen did happen, which was the fans were going to be restless, and you started to hear some boos, and the vibes were going to be bad, and they got bad early. But you go 3-and-out, you punt, but then on their first offensive snap, they fumbled. Like, Lenora Sellers going under center. When I mean, people like I get that question a lot. Like, why doesn't LSU go under center to run the ball? Like that's why they don't do it. I thought Cole Kubelik on the broadcast had a great point. He played center at Auburn. He said, "Look, I would snap 1,500 times." He's like, but after practice, 150, 200 snaps every day. Like you do it all, you rep it all the time. And so when you don't do it, and then you have to do it, like sometimes it looks like that. So Lenora Sellers with a new center, Lenora Sellers is under center for the first snap of the game, fumbles. LSU gets the ball back. Juwan Johnson went Wildcat on the first play. That was great to see. I know a lot of us wanted to see. That's a good look, man. You go single wing, it gives you numbers. So I love that. And you didn't take. So a lot of people have asked, would they put a package in for Van Buren? I'm like, I don't want to take Nussmeier off the field. So, but you already have Juwan Johnson in. Just snap the ball to Juwan Johnson. So they did. Went for 7 yards. That was great. Ran it again to Juwan Johnson on second down for no gain. 3rd and 3, incomplete, intended for Tradez, and they ended up kicking the 28-yard field goal. So bummer that you got the ball at their 17-yard line and settled for 3, but at least you got points. They got the ball, and they went on a pretty long drive here, but this was sort of the story of the night for South Carolina. Their second drive after the fumble, they went 9 plays, 46 yards, but the problem they have is they always kept finding themselves behind the sticks. They converted a 3rd and 8 with a 13-yard screen, and they're moving the ball. They get to the LSU 33, and then they stall out. Incomplete pass, 3rd and 8. They run a draw, and then a 47-yard field goal attempt was no good. So feeling pretty good. And then LSU puts together a beautiful drive. And so, like, it looks like the malaise of the first 3 and outs over. You drive down the field on this 3rd possession, and you're putting together what looks like it's going to be a really good drive. It's 13 plays, 71 yards. You chew up 6:13 off the clock. You convert a 3rd and 1. The big play was the 3rd and 8 where they hit Tradez for 19 yards down the left sideline all the way down to the 7-yard line. Now, first down, they run the little screen to Xavion Thomas, gets down to the 1-yard line. They give the ball to Juwan Johnson, fumble. I mean, and that was sort of the story of the night, unfortunately, for LSU, is you had opportunities and you didn't come through on the opportunities. So you're up 3-0, and on the 3rd play of the ensuing drive is when they bust the 72-yarder. That sucked. No way around it. Guy hit a seam. Tamarcus Cooley had a shot at him. Tamarcus Cooley and Monsoor Delane both had a shot at him. Cooley's the one who really had a shot, went high instead of going for his feet, bounced off of him. Dude house called it. So hat tip, they're up 7-3. And they never really threatened you again offensively. They moved the ball a little bit. I mean, they got some yards, but they never really threatened you again. The Tigers got the ball back and went right down the field, and this is when Tradez caught his touchdown reception, which was awesome to see. The first one, anyway. They were both awesome, but 6 plays, 57 yards, 2:19 off the clock. You faced a 3rd and 1. Caden Durham got a 5-yard run, and then it was 23 yards by Caden Durham, PI, 15 yards for Tradez, touchdown for Tradez, and you're right down the field. You're up 10-7, and you never trailed again. So, I mean, it's crazy. Like, they get the ball, like, you have a PI on. They got a 2nd and 8. Sellers is going to throw it away, and fucking Tamarcus Cooley with the PI. It's like, Jesus. So you give them 15 yards. They're moving it. You miss a couple of sacks. Then illegal snap, false start there behind the sticks. They end up punting. I mean, that was the story of the game for them because they're just not very good. The next drive for LSU is where Nussmeier got hurt, and I was curious to see if he would come out of the game. But the thing after that, when Nuss got hurt on that 3rd and 7 play, it looked like he was limping. But when he went down, I mean, it didn't look like he hurt his ankle. I mean, he wasn't. He didn't get tackled by the ankle. He didn't get rolled up or anything. So it was weird that he was limping. But I don't know if if he'll talk about it after or whatever that was ailing him. But then Grant Chadwick boomed a 71-yard punt. It was for a touchback, but I mean, Chadwick's been awesome. I mean, what a find he is. I told y'all before the season started, I had a guy on staff tell me that they think Chadwick will leave here as the greatest punter in program history. And it's hard to argue against. I mean, the physical ability's there. I mean, he's you know, he's got 2 more years after this, and he'll kick for you. He'll kick for you for 3 years and whatever. So, hang on, my mic is still on, but I'm gonna put this fire off. So. Whew. Damn. All right. So, so they punt, and then Tamarcus Cooley kind of makes good because that's where Tamarcus Cooley intercepts Lenora Sellers at the end of the next drive. So it's 4 minutes to go, 4:37 to go in the half. It's a 10-7 ball. LSU's up 10-7. You're thinking, all right, go into your 4-minute offense. They're getting the ball to start the second half. You don't want to give them the ball back, have an opportunity to go back to back. Put together a nice drive here, put points on the board, and it started really well. 8 yards to Trades, 9-yard run by Caden Durham. They go for the deep shot to Hilton, and that's where Hilton dropped the ball. They took their shot. Hilton dropped it. Should have been 55-yard completion. Instead, he drops it. Then Nuss has the beautiful throw on the sideline to Caden Durham for 17 yards. That was his best throw of the night. It was awesome. So you're at their 46. You can you have a 3rd and 7, and Trades false starts. 3rd and 7 becomes 3rd and 12. Nussmeier interception. That was the ball that was intended for Kyle Parker, where Parker was open and would have had the first down. But it's a bad throw by Nuss, man. I mean, there's no way around it. It's just like and that's where y'all, when you criticize play calling, and I'm not absolving Joe Sloan, okay? Please do not. This isn't a Joe Sloan sink. This is a general fan, us having a conversation topic. When people criticize play calling, this is an example of why sometimes I have an issue with it, with that criticism. I'm not saying play calling's been great or flawless or any of that stuff, but like in this situation, that wasn't a bad play call. Kyle Parker was wide open, and Nussmeier missed him, and you get a turnover. Like the play call where Juwan Johnson fumbled at the goal line was not a bad play call. Like, if you have a problem with it, my problem is, why isn't Caden Durham in the game right there? Like, put your best running back in the game at the goal line. But that's Frank Wilson deciding what running backs going in the game, not Joe Sloan. So, again, not absolving Joe Sloan. It's not in the Joe Sloan conversation. It's just when you criticize play calling, I mean, I can look and say, this offense moved the ball really well. They were balanced. They ran it for nearly 6 yards a carry. There were big plays in the pass game that were there. Chris Hilton had a big drop. Nuss threw 2 interceptions. I mean, like, I don't think this is the one where you'd look and say Sloan sucked tonight. Like, I didn't have a problem with how they managed the game tonight. There was a lot of opportunities in this game, and you put up yards, you moved the ball, you didn't finish drives, and a lot of that was execution. So throw the interception, they get the ball with 2 minutes, and again, this is what we talked about with them the whole game. They'd move the ball and they set themselves back. You had holding on to Tamarcus Cooley on this, but this is where Sellers got sacked, had the intentional grounding, they ended up punting. So you go to half in a 10-7 ball game. And they tied it to start the second half. Again, they were moving the ball. They got down to year 29, holding. So now it's 1st and 20, and they stall out. They end up kicking a 47-yard field goal to tie it. But I thought this was the most important part of the game. They tie it. Vibes are low. I was not in the stadium, but for those of you who were, I'm looking at some of your comments saying the crowd was sad and different stuff like that. I get it. I mean, it was one of the things we talked about on Friday's AFR was you're sluggish a little bit and offensively, and people are going to probably boo and the vibes won't be great. You needed to have a big offensive day and a comfortable win, and that didn't happen. But I thought this was an important moment. So they go down and tie it, and then your first possession of the second half. Like, if you had stalled out and given them the ball, with an opportunity to go take the lead, that would have sucked. But you take the ball and you go, this was a you go 75 yards in 4 plays. You need just 2:01 off the clock. You go Trades for 11. Caden runs for 7. They're off sides, which gives you, and that was a controversial call because your offensive lineman moved, but they called them for drawing the lineman off. Then Trades for 19. You get flagged for holding, so it's 1st and 20. That was holding, by the way, on Weston Davis. So it's 1st and 20. After you convert, you're moving. You're at their 33 now. You get flagged for holding, and then 1st and 20. Kyle Parker 43-yard touchdown catch and run, which was awesome. It was so important, I think, to get all that momentum back right away, to get the lead back right away, and overcome that holding penalty on the 1st and 20. Was pretty clutch. And on the next drive was when they went for the fake punt. They went 3 and out. And so you could tell Beamer was feeling, all right, this is going to get away from us. They just scored quickly. They got the lead. We're going 3 and out, putting our defense right back out there. We need to make something happen. They went for the fake punt. Looks like it was going to work, but they got flagged for illegal procedure and ultimately punted. So Tigers get the ball, and then this is where Nuss threw a second interception. I mean, you're going right down the field. Nuss on 3rd and 6 ran for 21 yards, which everybody wants to see him run the ball. He did. Then Juwan Johnson, boom, 56-yarder. You're down at the 11-yard line. Juwan Johnson for 2. It's 2nd and 8. Boom. Interception. I mean, they diagrammed it on the broadcast. You know, it was an RPO. Nuss should have given it to Caden Durham. He didn't read the safety through the interception. So bad decisions by a veteran quarterback, man. Cost you. But Carolina, like we talked about, did what they did all night. They kept shooting themselves in the foot because they're not a very good team. And they're not a very good team, and they make a lot of mistakes. So they got the ball back, and they put together a beautiful drive that ended up stalling out because they had a false start and an intentional grounding. They got to the LSU. They had first and 10 LSU's 27, and they go false start, intentional grounding. They're behind the sticks. They ended up punting just 27 yards. That's when they pinned LSU deep. And LSU was trying to run clock or whatever. LSU goes 3 and out punts, but anyway, then defense holds them on downs, and ball game was over at that point. So Tigers win 20-10. You added the 22-yard field goal at the end. Nuss fumbled at the goal line like we talked about, but fell on it. You're able to kick the short field goal. So Tigers win 20-10, identical score as the win against Florida. Would have loved to have seen the offense convert more, score more. They had opportunities to do it. If you're looking for positives, you won the game. You won an SEC game. You're 5-1. You were balanced on offense. You ran it. You ran it 30 times for 166 for an average of 5.5. Nuss was 20-33 passing for 254. Trades was awesome. 8 catches, 119 and a score. He caught 8 of his 11 targets. Kyle Parker 5 for 75 and a score. You know, you're doing it with different guys. Kyle Parker looks like a dude too, man. You know, those guys took advantage with no Aaron Anderson. Those guys took advantage of their increased targets and made the most of it. I'm glad they targeted Trades 11 times. He's a weapon. He's 6'7". He's a mismatch. There's no reason not to throw him the ball 11 times a game. So, all right, those are my notes. Let's get your questions, comments, concerns, all that good stuff. So fire away. I'll run through some super chats first. Appreciate y'all for being there. David, ugly win, pathetic. They can't punch in from the 1-yard line. Defense stepped up again. Jacob, glad LSU won. Hokies lost today. Hey, Debo. BK, count your days. This is worse. It's worse than the Florida game. Then would be a denotion of time. Like you would walk, then run. This is worse than by comparison to the Florida game. And no, this isn't worse than the Florida game. In that game, you had 5 interceptions and scored 13 offensive points. At least today, all the points came from your offense. Chandler, do glad we won. The crowd was piss poor at halftime. Understand people have to go places, man. Shame, good win, I guess. So honestly, Chandler, on TV, you couldn't really see that if the crowd had left. It looked like it stayed, and I was looking for that. It looked like it stayed pretty full until LSU got the 10-point lead at the end with the field goal. But if they were empty, now it's fine. Look, man, I don't ever criticize people. If you buy tickets and you want to use it as toilet paper, do it. You want to go early and stay late, great. You want to show up late and leave early, your prerogative. It's your money, it's your time. You do with it what you want. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. I don't want anybody telling me what to do with my time, my money, so I'm not going to tell you what to do with yours. Cheers from Western Colorado. O-line has to be one of the worst Kelly's coaching career. 5 and 4 stars everywhere. What's going on? Can we give Nuss 3 seconds? I think I just think a huge part is continuity. You have talent. You have talent on that line. Like Tyree Adams and Weston Davis are talented players. They just haven't played a lot. And I think Tyree Adams and Weston Davis can in time be a good player. He's just not yet. And if he had I think it helps that he has a veteran player like Josh Thompson next to him, but Thompson's new to what LSU's doing as well. So Thompson's played a ton, which is great, but he hasn't played a ton here with these guys in this system. So, my hope, I don't know if this is realistic, but my hope, optimistic hope, is that the more this offensive line continues to play together, the better they get. Like the fact that they were able to run the ball today was really good. I'm encouraged by that they attempted balance. And if you convert in the red zone, which certainly is possible, you win this game in a rout. And we're having a very different conversation, very different vibe here tonight. So there was some good in this game tonight. Roll Tide 99, thoughts on Maker's Mark? Maker's Mark's great. Yeah, good whiskey. Maker's Mark barrel picks are really good as well. Yeah, I like Maker's Mark a lot. Split zone is our only run play. W feels good, though. What's interesting is that they even tried around the goal line to run power again. They had Bauer Sharp in the backfield. They had Pyburn in there as well, and they had Bordelon, Bo Bordelon in 89 he's an offensive lineman. They put in the 89 jersey as an extra blocker. So they were heavy, and they still got thrown for a loss and couldn't get in. I mean, Bauer Sharp got flat-backed by 6 by Dylan Stewart. I mean, on the play where Durham got stopped short. I mean, it's like, that's a mismatch, but at least got to get away. Reed, A&M Bama will beat our asses if the offensive line doesn't improve. So, thing about Bama is Bama is not great at the line of scrimmage. I think Ty Simpson is playing awesome, and they have very good skill guys. Jam Miller got hurt today. I'm curious to see what that injury looks like. But where Nick's teams forever just dominated people was at the line of scrimmage. And this team doesn't dominate the line of scrimmage, which is why they keep playing close games. Bama needed to sweat out Vanderbilt, Missouri. You know what I mean? It's a different thing. I'm not going to do a Bama's burning thing, but that's ultimately the point. Is it's different. And so they've won 3 straight against ranked teams. But they're far from invincible. You know what I mean? I think we learned a lot about Missouri today, which was their fool's gold. The fact that Ahmad Hardy, who's a good player, was running for 7 yards a carry. Well, that's because you're playing Central Connecticut State and fucking Kansas and UL Lafayette. And you play a real team and you run for 52 yards. It's going to be different. Peyton, good. What's up? Let's see. Brian, y'all hit that like. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all very much for being there. Reed's going into week 7. Time for patience with the offense. Personnel staff is over with. Reed, maybe you missed where I started. Because, and I understand, look, there's 2,000 people watching. God bless you. I'm so glad to have all y'all with us. And thank you for hanging out with us here. But where I started was I told y'all before Ole Miss that my tone was going to change about the offense if they struggled offensively against Ole Miss, because Ole Miss is a bad defensive team. Like, they are. Ole Miss is a bad defensive team. They were in a quagmire against a bad Kentucky team. They gave up 500 yards to Arkansas. They won by 3 points today at home against Washington State, where they were a 34-point favorite. I mean, Ole Miss is not great, and LSU lost that football game and it played shitty. And they couldn't move the ball against a bad defense. So I'm telling you, yes, I've changed my tone about the offense. I was willing to be patient for the first month for a lot of the reasons we've talked about. New offensive line, Nuss injury to whatever degree, really good defensive front you were facing with 5 new starters on the offensive line, whatever. All that, yeah, that's over. Like, you're halfway through the season right now. Now it's about, like, what are your based on what you are, like, what's a realistic expectation of how much you can improve, and based on that, what's your ceiling on the season? So, I mean, I do expect LSU to win at Vanderbilt next week, because I think LSU's defense is awesome, and I think Vanderbilt's secondary is their biggest weakness, and LSU, if they can give Nussmeier time to throw, will have big plays to be made in the secondary. I don't know what the score will be. I do think LSU will win at Vanderbilt. And if you do that, you're going to come home for an epic environment in Tiger Stadium. We've seen some batshit crazy games in that stadium, and you're going to have a top 10, potentially LSU Texas A&M matchup. And let's see where the chips fall. But you got to go take care of business this week. We'll have that conversation. Hopefully you play your best game of the year and you win that game. And then you go into November knowing what you need to do, which is split at Bama and Oklahoma, win at home against Arkansas, Western Kentucky, your playoff team. The path is there. I'm not predicting they're going to make the playoff. Okay, I'm not telling you that. I'm very much acknowledging all the things that LSU has wrong with it. I'm saying there is a path. There is a realistic path. Nuss will limp anytime he gets hit. So, it was like the ankle thing was interesting because it didn't look like he hurt his ankle. I'm curious when he was limping off the field and then went down, then got up and went off. Well, he never went to the injury tent. So I'm curious what that was limiting him there. What's up with Chris Hilton? Way too many drops. I'm with you. It's a real it's a real disappointment. Chris, the last 2 years, I would tell you, going to fall camp was LSU's best receiver in fall camp the last 2 years. I mean, he was awesome. And I'm talking about in 23 with Neighbors and Thomas, like, he was in that mix. I'm telling you, like, but injury set him back. And then last year, he was their best receiver in fall camp. And then he hurt his foot and he didn't come back to the end of the year. And you can see, like, defensive backs have trouble guarding him. I mean, he drew another PI tonight because if he beats you off the line, it's curtains. Because he's that explosive and dynamic of an athlete. But he has had trouble hauling in some of these passes. That's true. And yes, so this one is 100% right. Kyle Parker is a better receiver than Chris Hilton right now. Like, and I want great things for Chris. He's a local guy who has stuck it out and he has all the ability, but Kyle Parker is better. Like, Aaron Anderson was out. You saw Nick Anderson start in Aaron Anderson's place in this game tonight. And Kyle Parker took advantage of the opportunities, and he's been great. He catches the ball, he moves the chains, had a great catch and run today for a touchdown. Yes, like Kyle Parker, based on performance, deserves more reps. Cameron, where do you get your cigars? Well, Don Juan Cigar Bar in Baton Rouge, but I would also recommend Bocock Brothers. Bocock is all. This is a Bocock Brothers cigar. They're LSU grads, and so 10 out of 10 recommend. They're LSU grads, and they have officially licensed products. Like this is their 100-year Tiger Stadium box. They have the LSU baseball box with the pinstripes on it. And they have another like premium cigar that they just set that they just released. It's at their website. So if you go to, well, I'll share it, and you can use, if you use the code MAT15, 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 at checkout, you'll get 15% off your order. So I'll paste Bocock Brothers in there. But again, they're LSU, they're brothers, they're the Bococks, and they're LSU alums, and their cigars are great, and I really enjoy them. And so I either buy my cigars at Don Juan, which I do often. I mean, I'm there most every Friday, and Don Juan Cigar Company is right next door. So if you want to buy, you can buy boxes there too, or you want to buy individual cigars. But if you want to buy boxes directly from Bocock, I'd recommend it too. Use the code MAT15 for 15% off. That's very cool of them to give our audience a discount code. So. Hey. All right, Drunk Vigo. There you go, bud. Our defense gets aggressive times. See, here's the thing, man. Like, I just disagree with that, man. I don't think they're too aggressive. I think you got to be what you are, man. And you know, this is how Blake Baker builds his defense, and it's around pressure and pressure schemes. And I love that, man. I'm never going to tell him stop pressuring the quarterback, stop putting pressure on the offense. That's what he does, and he's got the personnel to do it. It's what they built him to do. I don't want him to sit back and play conservative. I want them to fact. Like this is one of those games where you harass Lenora Sellers the whole day. You held them to one touchdown on a 72-yard, busted run. So it's hard to find fault with the defense. Now they do play a high risk, high reward style. Like you're going to. Like, there's going to be times where you try pressure packages, you take a big risk, and it doesn't pay off. But you want to create the negative plays. That's what Blake Baker kind of thrives on. Hang on, y'all. I don't know if y'all can still hear me. I'm curious how far this microphone goes. Let me know if you can still hear me. Post it in the chat if you can still hear me. I'm curious if this mic goes this far. Post in the chat if you can still hear me. I'm curious. Woo. Could y'all hear me? Post in the chat if y'all could hear me. I went around. I'm curious how far this mic goes. So I don't know if y'all could hear me around the side of the house. Okay, y'all could hear me over there? Cool. Because that's I I'd go around the side of the house. I just didn't know how far okay, cool. Okay. This is a giant pet peeve of mine. It has been since the day Brian Kelly's been, for as long as Kelly's been the coach. And I used to crush Ed Ogeron for that because they would waste timeouts because of their their lack of organization, and I will crush. So I will be consistent and say the same about Brian Kelly. And if it's Kelly, if it's Sloan, if it's Nuss, I don't know. But the operation, absolutely. Oh, y'all couldn't hear me? Okay. There's way too many times the operation is out of sync, and they waste timeouts. Change of possessions, key moments in the game because the play clock's running down. Like, I want timeouts as a resource. Like at the end of the half, end of a game, where you need to have your playbook available to you because you can use the middle of the field because you have timeouts to stop the clock. I don't need to be wasting timeouts because the play clock's running because you're checking 15 times at the line and you don't have a play call. And like, that's one of the things Brian Kelly said this last week, which was like, good. Which was like, call the play, run the play. Okay, y'all heard me over there. Okay, good. What kind of mic are you using? So it's called a Rode, RODE. Rode's a brand we use a lot of broadcast equipment. Like the audio board I use when I do morning scone, for those who are here for that, it's called a Rodecaster, RODE, and these are Rode. So it's this is the wireless mic, and then it's a USB-C that plugs into the computer. So it's just a Bluetooth mic. So, well, here's the thing. You say that's nuts, and I understand what you're saying. Like, he's at the line, check in, and that's fine. But it's on the coaches to know, like call the play, run the play. Like, at a certain point, like, let him know, stop with all the fucking checking at the line. Like, call the play, run the play. And that's operational. And that's on coaching. Let's see, David. It's wild to me Brian Kelly doesn't even have Michael Van Buren packaged for short yardage when they've been so bad in those situations. Even Sean, pull Hall of Famer, improve her retention. Well, so you're talking about Taysom Hill. But my argument is, I'm not bringing – and there were times with Taysom that Drew Brees would still be on the field. And you're also talking about the NFL and college, which is not what and what. And also, I mean, Taysom Hill did start games at quarterback in the NFL. And if you're just wanting someone to go in and run, I would rather my running back go in and run, which you saw today with the Wildcat formation with Juwan Johnson, which is the thing I've been saying I want to see. Like, give me my running back in a single wing who is actually a runner. He's a scholarship runner. He's a guy with vision and carries the ball and can take a hit. And yes, you could say, well, Van Buren has the ability to pass. So can Juwan Johnson. He threw for 10,000 yards in high school. Like, I don't need him to go pick apart a defense, but if you want to have some run pass option or some throwing action off of that series, you trust him to throw the football. So I don't need Michael Van Buren in. I don't want Michael Van Buren in the game. I want my starting quarterback in the game. And if you want to run Wildcat, single wing, whatever you want to call it, use Juwan Johnson. I don't see this being an 8-14 with the defense of this caliber. Hopefully Nuss can come through in crunch time. That's the thing, Dakota. Like, we saw Nuss do it last year against Ole Miss, right? Like, in a huge spot. And he also turned the ball over against A&M. So we've seen the highs and the lows. The hope is, as he went into his second year as a starter, that he was going to hit that sort of curve that we saw with Burrow and Jaden and those guys in their second year as the starter. And there was reason to believe it, Strong finish to last year against Vanderbilt, Oklahoma in the bowl game, and then coming back this year and adding weapons and all that stuff. And so far, it just hasn't happened. And if it's because he was slowed early with the injury to whatever degree, or if it's the offensive line, whatever all of the different factors haven't come together. But I'll tell you this is like a fundamental truth. No matter what team, what sport, whatever. every team in the history of sports ever will play its best game and its worst game of a season. That's just true. Like, and it could, there's varying degrees of what that looks like, but every team will play its best game and its worst game. LSU clearly has not played their best game. My hope is their worst game was the game we saw against Ole Miss. They lost, and that sucks. But we still haven't seen their best game. Maybe their best game will come in 2 weeks when they play Texas A&M and they win a big game against a top 10 team or top 5 team at home. Maybe, like, that's a real possibility. I hope it happens. Charles, there was improvement. It's amazing Nuss didn't get sacked. Is that correct? TV reported. He did not get sacked. Correct. He was pressured. He was hit a lot. But that's also a big hat tip to Nuss, being a veteran player, knowing when and how to get rid of the football. So there were no sacks. There were 4 TFLs. He threw 2 interceptions, and he was hurried 4 times in the ballgame tonight. Shelby, what's up? Here you go. You think OU and Oregon losing will help LSU in the rankings? I don't expect Oregon to drop much. They lost a home game, but it was a close game to another top 10 team. How about Indiana? Hat tip Kurt Cignetti. I mean, that's one of those like Missouri where I was like, okay, you're undefeated. Who have you played? Well, they went on the road to Oregon today and beat a team that some thought was the best team in the country. And that was no fluke. As a matter of fact, if you were watching that game, Oregon got a pick 6 to tie it in the fourth quarter when it looked like Indiana was taking over that football game. And Indiana still won by double digits. I still won by, I think it was 34 to 24. I'm not looking. Well, I didn't look it up. Final score was 34-24. It was 30 to 20. Sorry, 30 to 20. 30 to 20 was the final. So, J-Mac, what's up? Where was Xavier Thomas? He played. He was out there. The targets just went to Tradez and Kyle Parker, which I'm good with. Xavier had a after the Tradez play that got you down to the 7-yard line. When you were first and goal at the 7, the first play was Xavier in the flat for 6 yards. I think that might have been his only catch. Hang on. I think that was Xavier's only catch. Xavier had. But yeah, the one catch for 6 yards. He was targeted 4 times. Xavier was targeted 4 times, one catch for 6 yards. How do they have Xavier one catch for 6 yards, but he had 9 yards after catch? Oh, I guess he caught behind the line of scrimmage. I don't know. That don't make no sense. But like a big part of the offense at this point had been Xavier Thomas running the football, like motioning him in, handing the football. Today, they gave the ball to the running backs. Like, you have scholarship running backs. Hand the ball to your scholarship running backs, which they did tonight, which I was glad they did. David, that's fair with Juwan. You made the point earlier after I sent my super chat. I can accept the rebuttal. Side note, some Basil Hayden toast. So, I love toasted barrel whiskey. I do not love Basil Hayden toasted barrel whiskey. And Basil Hayden also has a dark rye, which I think is one of the most disgusting things I've ever had. Basil Hayden's standard bourbon, I think, is a really good offering for $30, right? It's a great sipper for someone who's just starting. That's low proof, and you want something that's tastes good and is tolerable. I think that's really good. The best toasted barrel whiskey, I think. Parker's Heritage Toasted Barrel is probably the best. But that's like that's a unicorn bottle, really hard to find. Like, you're not going to find it on a shelf. The Toasted Barrel whiskey, Michter's Sour Mash Toasted, if you can find it. But I think that one's delicious. J-Mac, tackling sucked. Pyburn couldn't get Lenore's down. Havoc defense needs to tackle. J-Max, I don't disagree with you. Sometimes you have to tip your cap. And Lenore Sellers, that's why people are high on him. Because he's 6'3", 240. He's really athletic. He's hard to get down. Like, as a 250-pound defensive end, you don't often have to tackle guys that are your size. I mean, Lenore Sellers is like the same size as Jack Pyburn. Like, It's just not something you do commonly. Tackle dudes that are as big as you that are more athletic. So I get it. A lot of teams have trouble tackling Lenore Sellers. And God bless the two quarterbacks tonight because they were running for their lives because both offensive lines were terrible. All right, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the posts. Always shout out to Parish, Parish Construction, Roofing, ParishBuild.com, Got Lit Light Installers, GotLitLights.com. They'll come install Christmas lights. They bring their lights, install them for you. When the season's over, they come haul them away. Totally turnkey. You don't do anything. Their installers are great. The people are great. Derek, Cal, they're awesome. Cannot recommend them highly enough. But the thing I got to remind you, don't wait. Like, don't think I'll wait till Thanksgiving, because they're done by then. Like, they do all their quotes and their installs in October and November up to, like, by Thanksgiving, they're done. So call, even if you don't, like, they don't install today, call them now to get on the books for scheduling and installation. So GotLitLights.com, GotLitLights.com. Did BYU tie it? Oh, shit. In 19 seconds. This is going overtime. Shit. We got money. Or are they going to go for two? Oh, is he going for two? Oh. Oh, no, that's fine. Wait, did I put, wait, I'm trying to think if I got Arizona money line or if I took Arizona. I think I might have taken Arizona plus 2.5. Hang on. Are they going for two? Hang on. Oh, they're tying it. Okay. I've got Arizona 2. I got Arizona plus 2.5. So I go for two. Please go for two. Go for two. Please go for two. Damn it. Moscona loves. I like the sports bet. I don't bet on it. Like, I don't play casino games or any of that shit. But I like sports bet. Randall, this is so stupid. Run the ball at the middle and bombs one. So stupid. I mean, okay, Randall. I'll just to prove you wrong. All right. I will look up. I doubt that PFF has this game. They don't have this game up yet. I'll look at the passing concepts against Ole Miss. So against Ole Miss, they threw 7 passes behind the line of scrimmage. They threw 10 to 13 within 10 yards of the line. They threw force 6 between 10 and 20 yards and force and 8 beyond 20 yards. I'm sorry, 7 beyond 20 yards. So, Randall, objectively, factually, you are wrong. I'm not defending him, but your comment is stupid. Like, to say all he does is run the ball up the middle or bombs away. Like, it's objectively wrong. I just told you you're wrong. Like you're saying I'm carrying water for him. I'm not. I've given him criticism. He deserves it. But if you're saying all he does is run the ball up the middle or bombs away, like, you're objectively wrong. You're factually inaccurate. So again, if you want to bring a criticism, that's fine. That's fine. But tell me why. Like, give me the play, the situation you didn't like. Because, like, I look at today and I said they threw it 33 times. They ran it 30. They were balanced. They put up over 400 yards of offense. That was great. I have a problem with, like, if your running back doesn't fumble at the 1, if your quarterback doesn't throw an interception at the goal line, like, these are scoring plays where this would have been a rout. And you're not coming here with that tonight if that's the case. That's not an opinion. That's a factual accuracy. What does a young golfer have to do to be the official golf coach of Whiskey and Wine? Crown and Maine Golf. You just got a shout out, is what you just got. So there you go. Mike, Mateer's broken in could be the difference in us getting the CFP or not. Kinda. That's not a terrible thought there, man. Mateer went out there and hat tip to him, man. Played his balls off with a broken hand, which is incredible. 17 days after surgery. But man, I also think like Texas is a good example of my sentiment that teams are allowed to improve, right? Texas was the preseason number one team in the country. Clearly, they were not worthy of that. However, they have a great roster and a really good head coach. And you keep improving as the season goes along. Like, that's allowed. I'm going to keep bringing up Ohio State from last year. Ohio State lost 2 games. They lost at Oregon. They lost to a 500 Michigan team. People were shitting on Chip Kelly. People lose context with time. People were shitting on Chip Kelly all throughout the year last year because they had so much talent at Ohio State, and they were just. It's like they had 2 left feet offensively for all that season, and then they got in the playoff, and they found their stride, and they were awesome. I'm not telling you it's going to happen for this LSU team. I'm just or Texas. I'm just saying teams improve, and it's a different structure now where it's not a BCS or a 4-team playoff where if you lose once, you're out of it. Like you have an opportunity to keep improving. So you just have to reframe how you think about it. All right. Let's shut this thing down. I'm going to go. I got to go record Locked on LSU. Do you think this is good? Do you think the offense can break 30 points? They did against Southeastern. Boy, it's so disappointing tonight, man. Like, you moved the ball, you had great opportunities tonight to put this team away, and you didn't. And it's so disappointing and so concerning. But you can also see the ability, right? Like Tradez is unfair. Kyle Parker's catch and run was awesome. Caden ran well tonight. Juwan busted up a 56-yarder. Like, there were things tonight offensively that were really good. You didn't finish drives, and that sucks. And you have to finish drives, or you're going to lose. And look, you had 2 possessions in the fourth quarter against Ole Miss in their territory where you settled for field goals instead of touchdowns, and that cost you the game effectively. So if they don't figure out how to finish drives, it will keep costing them games. So anyway, all right. I got to go record Locked on LSU. Hey, by the way, if you don't subscribe to Locked on LSU, please do. Podcast or YouTube. Podcast helps me more. YouTube's great, though, if you prefer. That's been a great blessing in my life. We've done awesome with Locked on LSU. It's I like to say it's like AFR, like 3 hours condensed into like 30 minutes every day. So I'd appreciate it if you go subscribe to Locked on LSU. All right, y'all, let's wrap this thing up, man. Appreciate y'all as always. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Tigers win. Thanks for being there. I'm gonna go record. I'm shutting this down. I'm gonna go record Locked on LSU right now, so that'll be live here in the next hour or so. So, all right, y'all have an awesome night. Be safe, be good to each other, and go Tigers, and who dat tomorrow. Be good. Peace.